Alright, what's up guys? We are playing First Snow. This seems like a really interesting game because I was looking through the options and it said there are the themes are story, fall, and winter. I guess it's a game about fall. I don't remember what it is. Oh, look at this. There's different acts into the game. Oh, this is gonna be a pretty decent game. Pretty decent sized. Alright, anyway, I already love the art style of this. This is so fucking cool. So I think First Snow is probably like kind of a Christmas game, but also kind of not a Christmas game. I don't know. We'll see. New game. Let's go. Twofold First Snow. The first snow of the year should be a comforting sight, yet this carries a different feeling when so far from home. Winter has always been my favorite time of year, but the joy of warm fires and upcoming holidays is missing. There's only a month left to go until the season begins in earnest. I can't feel any of the usual excitement. The coming winter will be the first I've spent away from my family. After all, it's just me now, standing alone on a concrete balcony and looking out into the gray sky. Oh, did she go off to college or something? Hey, Allison, aren't classes soon? She did go off to college. A woman's barking from down below breaks me out of my thought. Her familiar figure clad in leather stares up. Snow leapt up. Snow heaped on the rustled shovel in her hand. I cannot talk. Apparently, I have some sort of talking disability. Jesus. Looks like the heatings died down. Or, fuck. Looks like the heatings died again. The inside of the apartment no warmer than out there. This new home might be a little shady, but at least it's ours. Damn, that sucks. Fuck. We had whenever I went not whenever I went. I live me and my mom and yeah, I still live with my mom. We lived in an apartment building a couple of years ago, and the heating ran out. It was the worst thing ever. The apartment the people in the apartment, basically what they did is they gave us these towers that were basically heaters. They basically gave us like heaters from like Home Depot. And we had to huddle around this heater. They only gave us one, so we had to sleep in the living room around this heater because of how cold it was. We also had the oven on and we had it open, which is not a good idea. But we also did that so there can be more heat. And I don't think, was it a gas oven or was it a electric oven? I don't remember if it was an electric oven or a gas oven. It might have been a gas oven, which is even worse. But yeah, we had the oven on like overnight to just keep us more warm. It was terrible. God, it was so bad. And it took them like forever to fucking fix it. It took them until summer for them to fix it. It sucked so much. I don't know how all the heaters in the apartment buildings fucking broke. They had shitty heaters or something. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, off on that tangent. A quick glance at my phone as I walked to get my coat and bag confirms her to be right. The morning message from my friend still showing. Also, by the way, just to like say this, it wasn't as cold. We live in a definitely a warmer state in the US, but for us it was still really cold. For like people who live off in like New York, they would have just been like, "Ah, it's fine, it's okay." For us, since we're not used to the cold, we were dying. uh, the morning's message from a friend still showing on the screen. The idea of big news at this oh fuck. The idea of big news at this of all times fills me with worry. I'm already too busy just trying to keep up with my new life. Big news, Allie. Yay yay yay. Tell you later in bio. Yay yay yay. This is really adorable. Oh, I like how she has a little keychain. That's adorable. With time marching on, I quickly slipped the phone back into my coat and set off for the stairs. I shouldn't have a problem making it to class if I keep a good pace. Why is it so quiet? Oh, there we go. The busily shoveling woman is still working away, her efforts oblivious to sea. The snowfall has been impressive for a single night, but a good amount's already been cleared, her heavy breathing easily visible in the cold air. Huh. Keeping a brisk pace as much to get to my classes on time as it is to try and warm myself up, I try to wave a quick goodbye. It's obvious she won't let me go without giving her 2 cents. Though, as she puts her shovel against the wall and takes a good stretch. Morning, Rose. Oh, this is me. Morning, Rose. Working hard already? You probably shouldn't talk in a male voice, but it's fine. Oh, fuck. I don't know why that made me laugh. Just boop. Someone's got to do it. Not like those useless lumps will. Rose jerks her head towards the apartment. She's not really wrong, but her usual tactlessness is on full display. Are you all bundled up? Looks like winter's coming early. Going by the paper. Looks like winter's coming early. Going by the paper. I feel like she has that sort of. That's the way she said that. I'll be fine. Don't worry. Just take it easy on the way there. All right. I will. A weak smile is her response as I start off down the road. She knows that I'm right. This is hardly the first exchange we've had like this. Every other morning, Rose comes up with something or another to definitely not be concerned about. I don't mind, though. That kindness is one of her better traits. The weather has been getting steadily colder for a while now. A few workers braving the morning chill are slowly making their way down to the bus station for work. They'll stay behind and grumble as they shovel snow from the roofs of their cars and their driveways. There aren't many students down this way as I walk. However, student accommodation filled up fast, and the nearby apartments were all rented out soon after that. Thank goodness for a family friend offering to let me live with them. Helpful as Rose may be, there's still some sense of being a foreigner. It's only been 2 months since I moved in and started classes at college. My circle of high school friends and boisterous family home turning overnight to a cramped apartment shared between Rose and I. So she's a family member. Okay. As the school's buildings come into view, I join the tired masses staggering through the gates and towards their classes. Much as I might worry, I know I'm not alone. I'm sure many of the students around me right now are going through exactly the same thing. It's only now that I realize I haven't had my usual morning coffee back at the apartment to wake myself up. With little time before biology class starts, I'll have to content myself with a quick can of soda from the vending machine. Heading over to the Union building on the way to classes, the morning chills driven. Wait, fuck. Heading over to the Union buildings on the way to class, the morning chills driving away the usual gaggle of those sitting on the stairs and blocking the entrance. Morning chills driven away the usual gaggle of those sitting on the stairs. Yeah, I never went to college. So I don't understand this whole like living by yourself type of thing. I was going to go to college, but I decided to stay like an idiot. Yeah. If I were in college now, I would be in college for game art. Is where I was going to. I was going to a college in Denver, Colorado for game art, and I decided to stay because I met this woman, which was dumb because nothing worked out. But hey, you take your chances, I guess. I was going to go to college here as well, but I don't know if I want to. If anything, I would probably either go to college for computer science or some type of computer stuff. Anyways, usual goggle of the teachers. Whipping my hands together to summon some warmth, I head on in. With the heating being cranked right up, you could almost forget it's winter outside. My relief doesn't last long, however. My heart suddenly stops as a deafening clatter comes from my head. couple walking arm in arm skirt around the edge of the room, doing their best to not draw the attention of a blonde woman nearby. She grumbles loudly before delivering another kick to the poor, abused vending machine in front of her. It's like, the fuck is going on? Okay. I hate situations like these. Either I do nothing and feel bad for not helping, or step in and deal with the stress that comes with confronting someone involved. As I try to work my way out of this, my heart freezes as the woman locks eyes with me. I must make for a pliable sight with my hands raised defensively in front of me, her rage calming as she settles for staring daggers at the machine. Resigned to my fate, I reluctantly shuffle towards her as my heart beats wildly. As I do, her dire look is only made all the more intimidating from the bags under her eyes. Is something wrong? Stupid thing ate my money. No can or change at all. Threw $5 in there too. No can or change at all. Ah, the vending machine here messes up sometimes. It's usually better to go through to the cafeteria for drinks. It should fix it then. Recounting the event only serves to stir her up her annoyance, another foot being jammed into the accused. The horrible noise makes me cringe again, and I'm starting to worry she'll hurt herself as much as the machine itself. Don't kick it again. Oh fuck, I just straight up told her not to do it. I would never do this. By the way, I have fucking social anxiety. I would never walk up to someone kicking a vending machine. Why not? Thing's already broken, isn't it? I want to say that I'd rather not get in trouble with the staff, but I get the feeling that wouldn't phase her. Reviewing my options as quickly as I can, there's only one solution I can think of that might settle her down. I probably shouldn't, but if nobody's paying much attention, which drink did you want? She gives me a curious look after I manage to squeak the words out, but eventually points. Was just grabbing a lemonade on the way out. Couldn't you turn around for a moment? With a great reluctance, she turns away as I ask. I doubt she could work out what I'm doing by looking, but it's better to be safe than sorry. Closing my eyes, I silently mouthing the right sequence to make sure I don't mess it up. I go about my business with taking a look. The software inside hasn't been updated since I last tested this. Oh shit! A long sigh of relief passes my lips as the vending machine rattles away loudly, dumping a can into the small opening. Holding the can before the blonde woman's face, as she turns back around, my reward is somewhat impressed expression as she takes the item. Now that she has a drink and a chance to get her frustration out of her system, she seems to be calming a little. Her height doesn't help her look any less intimidating, though. With that, I consider the matter settled as I nod and begin to walk away. Only as I leave do I realize my heart's racing, I realize my heart's racing after having to deal with her. Hey, wait up. Reaching for my instinctual response, I pretend to not hear her as I skitter away and disappear back through the entrance. The cold hits me like a wall as I leave through the door. I hardly mind having a sigh and steadying myself as I head towards classes. Only remember now that I'd intended to grab a drink myself, but fiddling with the machine probably would make me too late. The empty campus grounds make me nervous, making me take my phone in hand to check the time. A quick glance is all that's needed to send me dashing toward the sciences building. It's going to be one of those days. It's one of those days. Up and down the street. Hey, look, another beautiful woman. Apparently there's nothing but women around. Panting from the run, I stagger into biology class with as much composure as I can muster. The sight seems to make a pliable impression on the professor, who merely nods for me to take a seat. Setting my bag next to me, I quickly take a seat next to a now familiar figure. The diminutive Caprice shoots a grin and a wave as I sit, earning a smile in return. It's nice to see a friendly face. As the professor gets back to lecturing, I grab my still pristine textbook from my bag. flickering through the bookmark I'd added for where we currently are. Movement from the corner of my eye takes my attention, a ripple piece of sketchpad sliding before me. Oh no, your perfect attendance record. What happened? Her writing is surrounded by various doodles and scribbles already on the page. I should pay attention to class, but it isn't that easy to wave off Caprice now. To wave Caprice off. Oh, that's her name. I didn't even read it. Whoops. That's so nice. I used to have a friend that did this often, that would like doodle things and stuff. Anyways. Then again, this is largely reviewing what we covered in high school right now. It probably wouldn't hurt to chat with her a bit. I kind of miss school, in all honesty. I miss having like regular interactions with my friends, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to go to college again. Was because I would go to the college. I would sneak onto campus and chill out with my friends in the game room. Like the college that I went to had a game room. Well, it was a community college, but it had a game room. But yeah, I went over there like pretty often-ish, I guess. And then I stopped going. But yeah, it was pretty fun. I think most of them are out already. But yeah, it was pretty fun chatting with them again. Yeah. Being an adult sucks. It kind of like makes me wonder like, every now and then I do hang out with them, but it's often that I go out because I am usually tired, which I don't understand why, because I don't do anything except YouTube and Twitch. That's literally all I do. I don't have a job. I'm a bum. It probably wouldn't hurt to chat with her a bit. She's just giving me nostalgia. Got held up with someone. Oh look, she. It's cool. I write a brief reply and a accompanied drawing before sending it back over. A quick look at the professor, making sure the coast is clear as he drones on. Caprice replies as a page is passed back, makes him grimace. I should have expected that. I almost reply no, not no. Fuck. I almost reply before noticing the professor casting a knowing glance my way as he continues with his teaching. He knew what we were doing, didn't he? Thinking better of it, I took the page underneath my textbook and started listening properly. I don't need to look at Caprice to know her reaction. I hardly think worse of her for it, though. Swapping doodles during these classes was how she broke the ice with me when I was just another lonely freshman student. A shy one at that. Given we're still friends, I suppose it worked. Taking a glance back at the page underneath my book reminds me how well the Mirasol girl can draw, at least compared to me. She mentioned one time that she's also taking art classes, which must be paying off. Before I know it, the classes start winding up. The other students begin to get distracted as time goes on. The professor soon starting to wrap things up in response. No sooner do the words come from his mouth that the class is over does the loud chatter of people packing books and pencils into their bags and backpacks begin. Caprice wastes no time in talking as the two of us do the same. I was worried you were sick today, Allie. It was only a couple minutes. For you, that's a lot. She has a point. It's likely I was more concerned about this than the teacher. After near perfect attendance throughout high school, though, the last thing I want is to set a bad exception from the staff here. Setting that aside, I'm not sure the professor really likes us passing notes to each other in class. Oh, don't worry about him. He's cool. We've talked. Well, if you're sure, I do like seeing your drawings. I like seeing yours. I'm glad you're here today. Actually, I've been thinking and I need your help with something. We're making an art club. But there's already an art... Wait. Why is there a we here there? How am I a part of this? You're a founding member, of course. Why do I get the feeling Caprice has just been mulled this over in her head for ages? Plans seem to already be in motion for her, and I'm not sure what choice I have left in this. I'm left to mull things over as I take my coat from the back of my seat and slide it on. The two of us taking our bags and joining the others and heading out into the hallway. I hadn't even considered joining a club, let alone starting one up with all the work that entail. I I can help, but I have my schoolwork to concentrate on. Getting a scholarship wasn't easy, and I'd rather not waste it. Ah, right. You were majoring in chemistry, weren't you? I give a nod, albeit a slightly guilty one. Not that I dare have told my family, but I only picked chemistry because I happened to be good at it. Like most things in life, I just went with the default option before me. At least Caprice seemed to have moved on from me being a part of this. Having enough going on in my life between moving to a new home and studying, studying for college to think about spending time in clubs and things. I'm surprised you're taking biology classes, to be honest. Aren't you more into art? It's hard to pick a favorite, but right now bio is just the entry level stuff. It's so boring, right? I talked to the professor though, and we're getting into some marine life chapters soon. That seems very specific. It's the most interesting part. I gotta focus hard when I get there. When we get there, I plan on making it my major. So even a free spirit like Caprice is something she's working towards. It seems I can't get away from how much of a mess my life is, with no idea what I want to do for a career. The two of us head outside with our next classes in other buildings. As we do, I look out worryingly as students from other classes pass by. I'd rather not bump into that angry woman again. Who were you held up with anyways? Bump into a friend? You're the only friend I have. That would require there be another beyond her in the first place. Yeah, I knew that. She's about the last person I'd call a friend. Kind of scary, actually. She might have been asking out of small talk before I now have her full interest. With reluctance, I think back on the event. Not sure if you'd know her. Tall, blonde, green eyes, very sharp look with high boots. Kind of pretty. Now that I have time to think it through, she was quite beautiful. And more than her body, too. I liked her sense of fashion. Huh, I think I know who you're talking about, actually. Do you? Yep, our other founding member. She hasn't dropped the idea of me joining at all, and now wants her of all people to be part of this. My reaction of the news apparently shows on my face. If we're thinking of the same person, I've seen her around and I've heard some things. She floats around the art department a lot, so the other art club tried to grab her, so she didn't even pretend to consider it. Just told them to get lost. Which means she's still free. She already rejected one club. Why would she join another? Because it's led by me, of course. I just sigh. I need to get to my next class. Being late for one today is already too much. Resigned to my fate, I wave goodbye and start to head off. Not more than a couple of seconds later, I hear calling out behind me. Before you go, meet me on the second floor of the arts building after classes, okay? We need to get started on finding a club room and stuff. Looks like I'm going to be a part of this scheme, whether I like it or not. Dealing with that woman again makes me shudder, but she'll surely just reject Caprice, and that'll be that. Of course, that won't be that. Walking through the halls at these hours is a wholly different experience to the normal hustle and bustle. Oh, it is a Christmas game. Where students gospel in the hallways, organized dates, and hurried between classes with arms full of overpriced textbooks, there's now a sweet silence. All to the scene at this hour is odd straggler thinking more about dinner than Hope School. What is wrong with me? All to seem that this hour is the odd strangler thinking more about dinner than schoolwork. Well then, at the Christmas decorating, I get the feeling that the arts and humanities staff take some enjoyment out of getting ready for the occasion. Much like the school itself, the decoration looks a bit ragged, probably hauled out every year for decades. With little to do until Capri shows up, exploring the arts building and peering into this classroom or that winds up passing the time. Heading up the stairs, I take my time strolling through the hallways. Everything is bathed in the orange of the sunset, the quiet of the halls giving the building a serene atmosphere. It's calming after the day's events. It isn't until a good few minutes pass that I find the first thing of much interest. A single room with a door left open. With curiosity getting the better of me, I stroll up the hallway and gingerly step inside. At least I can close the door for them. With only a handful of chairs actually set against tables, I think the room unused if not for the paints, papers, and sketchbooks thrown across the tops of cupboards. If Caprice wanted to call the room, this would be good as any. This would be as good as any. Okay. As I peer about, the sight of one particular canvas amongst it all catches my attention. The painting of a woman standing in the water sits drying on the easel. The painter's utensils still lying about. Stepping up to look at it, I'm surprised by how old-fashioned it is. Like the kind of oil painting that would be drawn in a century or so ago. Every brushstroke and lines has depth to it. The painter's every movement clearly visible. I find myself struck by its beauty, time slipping me by as I stare. Her soft-looking skin and flowing locks of hair are enough to make me wistfully sigh. Her face telling of her free spirit. It's beautiful. My thoughts are suddenly interrupted by the creaking of the door opening further, causing me to whip around in fright. Oh shit, it's that lady! The particular person standing in the doorway looking straight at me does nothing to settle my racing heart, much less the fact that I'm not even supposed to be in here. Oh, I don't know why I'm laughing. Sorry, I mean... I quickly tried to stammer out something, but the words keep catching in my throat. Oh, it's Vending Machine Girl. Allison. Allison Merlot. So you have a name. I am Ellen Turner, for what it's worth. I quickly nod for all my nervousness about maybe being somewhere I shouldn't. Ellen doesn't actually seem to care that much. In fact, she almost looks bored. If this room's used by a bunch of people, there's a good chance she might not know I'm an intruder. Well, I'm going to close this place up. If you want anything, you should grab it. Not that I think you have anything here. The cold edge to her voice freezes my entire body. I mean, I can explain. Ellen lowers her eyes and crosses her arms, waiting for my response. A response which is interrupted by a familiar voice booming through the entrance. Hey, Allie! I don't think I've ever been so glad to see Caprice, given this art club business was her idea. It's for the best if she explains it all. Ellie doesn't look impressed as Caprice. Ellen doesn't look impressed as Caprice skips into the room, looking this way and that like some tourist. Good work, you already found us a room. This will work perfectly. Good work, you already found this room. This will work perfectly. So Caprice got herself a new goon. I wish I was surprised. Yep. You're not supposed to agree with that. And what do you want this room for, pray tell? Well, the current art club is awful. I'm sure you know. So instead of dealing with them, we're going to form our own. And it looks like you and Allie have found us a club room. I see what's happened here now. Caprice engineered the situation so we'll all be here together. This isn't a very subtle scheme, but that's all the more reason for her to have come up with it. I try my best to backpedal in a way that doesn't upset either. I just thought we'd draw a bit, didn't mean to intrude. I got permission to use this room to practice my paintings, not for some dumb club. Sorry, but it's 2 against 1. Majority rule. I didn't say anything about a club. Well, too bad. This is a dictatorship. Ellen stands her ground, staring down her opponent as I try my best to stay well out of their argument. Resolve doesn't last long, though. Realizing the futility of it, she eventually heeds a sigh at Caprice's antics. I can't say I wholly blame her. I just want to work in peace. That isn't much to ask. But I'm not going to get anything more done today anyway. Ellen turns to me after packing up her coat from a desk and pulling her scarf around her, rather potently being finished with Caprice. See you around, I guess. Yeah. At a loss for how I'm supposed to respond to such an unenthusiastic tone, I'm left standing silently by the frustrated Ellen, throwing her backpack over her shoulder and strides out. Caprice just smiles and shrugs as she looks back to me, the argument they had just moments ago flowing off her like water on a duck's back. Well, that's how it is. Well, that's how it is. I feel like I got dragged into something. I didn't really think that'd work, but it was worth a try. She's not listening to me at all. Am I really just an instrument to try and win this argument between them? No, I can't think that. Caprice is forceful, but she means well. If this did end up being a club, I'd probably enjoy it. Caprice certainly wouldn't make it dull, and I think if Ellen got to know me, she'd be nicer to me. But I know what it risk Ellen getting even more annoyed with me. I don't want to risk Ellen getting more annoyed. It feels like I've been left to hunker down in a foxhole in no man's land, and all I can do right now is hold my helmet on tight. As the orange of the sunset starts to wave outside, it becomes obvious that nothing more going on is going to get done today, just as Ellen said. I'd better head home, it's getting late. See you tomorrow. See ya! If you ever want to draw, feel free to drop by the new club room. Precisely none of what Ellen said penetrated, did it? I give a weak smile as I wave and take my bag, idly wondering if Rose will be cooking something for dinner or bringing home takeout. It's something more heartening to think about than today's efforts anyway. How long have I been playing this game? I'm so, like, this is such a good game so far. Alright, it's been 30 minutes. With that scene transition, that would be the end of this video. We are now at home. Anyways, guys, hope you guys, you guys need to comment or subscribe. Like the video, smack that bell around, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.